happening everywhere, all day, every day. That's what the CEO of Qualcomm just admitted in a podcast.
6G is going to do, not only at your neighborhood, not only at the city, at the state, but at the entire country level, will map the digital twin, I think, of the world. And that also become very interesting. Of course, in today's, I think, environment, if I say that, everybody will understand it. Like you can do drone detection. You know, everything that is moving is going to be tracked. You have a radar at scale.
So basically, 6G won't just track digital devices. They're talking about building a model of the entire world where they can track anything that moves. This is even scarier than what he admitted earlier.
What is 6G? 6G is designed for AI. So in addition of the networks making connectivity and give you faster connections, will sense everything around you. You take the AI to the next level, you can actually get facial recognition of everybody in the room. That's going to be done at scale at a 6G network, and that's more context.
It almost makes no sense for him to admit something like this so publicly. But then again, they're all openly admitting that 6G is pretty damn scary.
So we're into 6G now, right? 5G. I was a leader on 5G getting that done. And now they're up to 6.
Let's do it again.
What does that do? Give you a little bit deeper view into somebody's skin? See how perfect it is? I like the cameras the old days. So they just had a nice feature. Now they cover every little. Let's see, Michael, you're in good shape. You're not gonna, but I tell you, it's the 6 is coming, huh?
And by the way, this gets even worse because this 6G mass surveillance is also tied into all these AI companies and their shiny new products.
We're working with pretty much all of them.
Yeah, I think like OpenAI, Meta.
All of them. And you have different things that people wear. Glasses is the easiest one to understand, but they're going to be more. They're going to be jewelry, pins, pendants, things that you wear, and it can connect you to an agent.
And if for some reason smart glasses aren't cutting it for you, well, you can go to your local Nokia store and get a 6G implant.
About 6G earlier, which is around 2030, I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
If you can't see that the RFID chip is the mark of the beast, you tripping. This 6G shit going all time to it. That's why they ain't pushed it out yet. But Shalom, first thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutations be to the hopeful elect. This is a quick lesson through the spirit. It says the CEO of QUALCOMM says 6G will track everything that moves and the internet is melting down. Going back until you will own nothing and be happy about it. I remember we had 3G, 4G, 5G LTE, which honestly speaking, like when you look at like I'm on a Wi-Fi right now, but all this shit is connected. But 4G and 5G, honestly speaking, there's really not a difference of speed. Because when you first got 4G, it was instantaneous. But see, they slow down these prototypes when they create a new type of source to bring in more technology, then, you know, it's more quicker. But believe it or not, 5G it's the same shit. You know, it's just in more micro bursts, but it's the same shit. So they talking about 6G is going to be faster than this. Possibly, but even then, they're selling you on the premise of getting it under your skin, because you heard what the dude said at the end. He said that by 2030, that's less than 4 short years, okay? We got 27, 28, 29, 30. So we're less than 4 years away. They're talking about making a cell phone obsolete. So you got to ask yourself how you're going to communicate. And the reality of it is that a lot of people are going to use Neuralink or the brain interface chips, because they can communicate so-called telepathically, which is the left-hand miracles. See, you Israelites out there that's not teaching on the mark of the beast is because the Heavenly Father, he's not supping with you. This is the major prophecy that we're getting ready to undergo. Because for the simple fact, this is direct link between this and Yahweh Shai returning back to get his elect. And Jake, they're playing games, man. I've seen on when I think Zariak, it was when breaking down a Mark of the Beast, they refused to say it's the RFID chip. And it makes sense that with the 6G rollout, with the Palantir, with the Stargate, and all these other data centers and so forth, it makes sense that they're going to try to roll all this shit out at once. This is why they're getting these data centers up overnight. And it's just my personal belief. I don't have any definitive proof of this, but I believe that once these data centers are going up as a collective, that's when they're going to start to pull a plug on this place. Then you're going to start seeing more blackouts, more bank outages. They're going to be tearing down this old system and gearing up with the new 15-minute smart cities, which has been a thing. The Palisades, Maui, those landmines out there in the Carolinas. 15-minute smart cities are going up literally overnight. Okay. So anyway, let me get a precept real quick. This is the book of Revelation 13. And I'm going to start at verses. Matter of fact, let's go here. Habakkuk 2. And let's start at verses 2. It says, and Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. Okay. And it's being plain. The apostles on down have been speaking on this. And there's literally videos coming out daily about Revelation 13 and 16, which will be required for you to have a job, which will be required for you to operate a motor vehicle, for you to own a home, etc. You see? So this is where we're at in prophecy, man. And it's coming quick. And if you don't have it, then you're just going to be ostracized for a time being. And then it's going to come a time that it's going to be illegal to not have it. And then basically you're going to be deemed an enemy of the state, which will be slated for execution. And a lot of people going to fold with a gun in their head, or when they have certain needs and wants like food, shelter, raiment. Their children may become terminally ill. That's why it's good for you brothers to take care of your health. But they may become terminally ill to the point that the only way to receive some type of healthcare assistance is if you get the chip. So if you got a baby girl that's dying from fucking ovarian cancer, or cervical cancer, or breast cancer, or just a cancer period, and you ain't got the chip and you don't have no faith, then hey, you gonna fall like a cheap suit. All right. And it says, and the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come and will not tarry. So it's not procrastinating anymore. It's not halting. All right. This is the top of the town. Technocrats. You got Larry Ellison. You got this dude, Larry Fink. What's this other clown's name? This fucking dude I just mentioned. Peter Thiel. Alex Karp. You got what's this dude name? Elon Musk, which he's a fucking retard. And you got several other guys out there, man. Nor Yuval Harari, Kill Gates of Hell. All these are pushing a technocratic future on you people. But you think them themselves gonna have this shit in them? Fuck no. Okay, that's for the you peons out there. And I say you because we not taking it. All right, because we believe that the Spirit of the Lord is gonna keep us from the hour of temptation if we remain faithful. But the rest of you Israelites out there that's not speaking on his prophecy and that you're sweeping it under the rug, then guess what? The Most High is going to sweep you under the rug too when it comes time for him to remember you. All right. And you ain't going to be, remember, you're going to be given over into this system, and you're going to catch a missile. Okay. Because shortly after this is instituted, this system is going to go down shortly thereafter. And that's a fact. All right. Apostle Tar even said it. He said, look, the chip come. He said, look, we might have 60 days left. Because you know how in the movies they show how a post-apocalyptic world, this is 30 years after the nuclear event, or 30 years after the pandemic, and life is decayed. You got maybe 250 people left in the whole country. And you got, like the book of Eli showed you, that he's going from one place to the next and going about trying to find supplies and all that other stuff. Listen, man, we ain't going to be here too much longer. Okay, Jacob's trouble is not going to be a 30-year process. Like you had some knucklehead that tried to break down Jacob's trouble the other day. And I thought about doing a response to it because he went completely off. Some points he was on point, but he said that, well, we're not in Jacob's trouble yet. I beg to differ, my man. Okay, now you got levels to it. Now, are we seeing the full-fledged heat of Jacob's trouble? No, we're not that far into. We're not that deep in. Well, we're in it, but we're not in the midst of the thick yet. We ain't in the midst of the forest yet. We're still on that beginning threshold when those things are still intact, man. But if you pay attention to what ICE has been doing to the Northern Kingdom, to the earthquakes like out there in Cuba, the blackouts and earthquakes, they're experiencing Jacob's trouble as we speak, because not only that, you got riots, you got chaos, you got purges going on down there that the mainstream media is not going to cover. Okay. Now, as far as us here in America, yeah, we are in Jacob's trouble, but there's still a point we haven't reached yet, but we there. Okay. But it says here, but behold, the soul which is lifted up in him is not upright in him, and the just shall live by his faith. So we're going to have to go off pure faith in that day. And we can't thrive off emotion, because you're going to have some guys that's going to get emotional. Man, my baby mama can't eat. She can't feed my daughter. Okay, well, too bad, nigga. You got faith for what? But like I said, a lot of you, that you going to fall head first into this, man. You know, and hey, if you ain't of the elect, it's a done deal. But as we mentioned, there will come a time, and they already publicizing it. They're pushing it. They're going to have celebrities to test this thing out. When they see that you can do those miracles on the left-hand side, nigga could play 2K26 with GTA 6 in his mind. Because there's something about them sixes, man, which is the number of a man. But it's something about nigga could play, what's the name of that game? Fortnite in his mind. Hey, Jake gonna take that. Hell, Jake would take the chip just to get the new GTA 6 coming out, man. That's how stupid you niggas are. And a lot of you Israelites out there, guess what? You gonna find out that Great Millstone had it right the whole time. So anyway, let's get another precept. It's the book of Revelation 13. And let's start at 14. And deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power in the sight of the beast to do. The beast is this system. All right, this beast system. It says, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had a wound by the sword and did live, which is going into the ancient Roman Empire. It says, and had power to give life unto the image of the beast. All right, and that image of the beast is everything from the Palantir systems to the Stargate to the AI. All right, and to this new bandwidth bullshit that they pushing. The chip is everything around it, the image. You know, this is Rome 2.0. And it says the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right. And when you go into that kill word, killed, it doesn't always mean a physical mortality. OK, in a lot of cases, they just going to ostracize you and you're going to be pretty much complacent in life, meaning that eventually this system is going to weed out and force those or push us out of it that's not compliant with this system, because if you don't have the chip, you won't be able to operate your television, or you won't be able to get an apartment. You won't be able to go to the DMV to register your tags and stuff like that. You won't be able to file your taxes. So it's going to phase us out by force. And eventually, when a lot of people start to catch on to it, that this is not what they want, they're going to start putting hits out on people, man, because eventually they just like, look, anybody that's against this new world order, we got to get rid of them. OK, the whole thing of the new world order is no mercy. So this will be brought in by bloodshed. It ain't going to be just as simple as, look, oh, OK, well, go live in the woods some goddamn where. Nah. No, and I'm not saying that people ain't going to be off the grid and escape through the cracks. Of course, that's how it's going to be, but in a lot of cases. But as a collective, they want the whistleblowers like that nigga, what's his name, Kyle Kalinske. They gonna get him. They're going to do something real bad to him because he's popping all types of shit about Trump, man. And I think he's an Ephraimite. He's a silly-ass Ephraimite. He's some type of Northern Kingdom, man. Or some type of confused Israelite foreigner, Jake. But, yeah, man, they're going to get him, all right? And anybody that's speaking out against that New World Order. Which, I mean, he could be controlled opposition, but I don't really think so. You know, I just think he's a guy that end up getting the following because, you know, he's so controversial, which this world loves controversy. This is why the Israelites are the topic of the town. This is why that nigga Haman Malone, he can't stop stalking brothers, man, because for the simple fact, you know, hey, they know we have the truth. And it reads, and calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hands or in their foreheads. That's the chip. Okay, that's that neural link, and that's the one that go in your right hand or in your left. You could get it in your right hand, your left hand. You get it in your big toe. You can get it in your ass cheek, whatever. All right, you can get it in your fucking nostrils. At the end of the day, it's the chip, man. Like in Total Recall, I think he got it put in his brain. The one that came out back in the 90s for Arnold Schwarzenegger. That nigga went to Mars or some shit. But anyway, yeah, man. So this is the new thing, the chip, the MOT busy. And you gonna find out, like I said, at the men of GMS, we had it right. It says, and he calls it all, both small and great, red, that no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. They was already pushing it, saying in the prison systems that they're going to require people to get it in the prison system. And a lot of times, if people want to get a sentence reduced, then they can get the chip and they can probably reduce a 30-year bid to maybe like 10 or some stuff. And a lot of people don't take that to be back with their families and to go out in civilization again, to actually taste real food, to get a woman. Yeah, Jake gonna take that. This is why we got to stay locked in and stay fervent, because hey, the Lord, scriptures say in Zephaniah that the Lord will punish those that settle on their leads. So every Israelite camp that don't speak on this, they're settled on their leads, man. And I can say GMS is the only camp that really pushes this. IUIC don't push it. ISUPK don't push it. Fucking, what's the name? Wi-Fi, they don't push it. But you got Christians pushing it, you know, the ones that understand prophecy to some degree. And you got regular citizens, you got podcasters, Sabby Sabs, this dude Kyle Kalinske, fucking even Alex Skull and Bone Jones know that the chip, hell, even in Redacted, they even pushed it to some degree. So all you Jakes in Israel, you the worst, man. Because you supposed to be on top of this. Every Israelite camp should be doing the videos on the Mark of the Beast, man. But, you know, it is what it is. And it says, here's wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast. For it is the number of a man, and its number is 603 Hey, that 6G shit, that's going to be the new wave. Now, when they going to roll it out, we don't know. He said by 2030, it's going to be here before then, because he said by then, you ain't going to have cell phones anymore. So they getting ready to slowly phase these phones out. So all that money people been spending on the new iPhones, I want the iPhone 32. You drop 2 bands on that bad boy just for less than a year later to have it put inside your ass. Like, what kind of madness is that? You know, scriptures say, a gift destroyed the heart. Also, the scriptures goes into, don't put your trust in an unfaithful guy, roughly paraphrasing it. Can't trust Esau, man. Jeremiah 17:5, it says, thus says Yahweh, cursed be the man that trusted in man. You trusting in this man, this devil, and make flesh his arm, and whose heart departed from the Lord. It says, for he should be like a heart in the desert, and should not see the good when cometh, but it should be inhabited by parched places in the wilderness, in a sand land that is not inhabited. So basically, you're going to be left out there. And when the missiles come, you're just going to be missile food, you know? Go here, Ezekiel 12. As you had Jake's, man, they ain't gonna come for another 100 years. Nah, bro, this is knocking at your door. Ezekiel 12:21, and it says, and the word of Yahweh came into me, saying, son of man, what is the proverb that you have in the land of Israel, saying the days are prolonged and every vision felleth? Because one thing Jake likes to do, they're known for casting off the prophecies, because Jake still want time to engage in folly, right? If a nigga wants to be something here in Babylon or in this man's setup, hey, he's going to continue to push off the day of the Lord, because he wants time to engage in his folly and his wickedness. And it reads, tell them therefore, thus says the Lord Yahweh, that I will make this proverb to cease, and they should no more use it as a proverb in Israel, but saying to them, the days are at hand and the effect of every vision, meaning, and this is why we're blowing the trumpet. You know, they say, oh, well, you always say that something going to happen. Apostles always say 6 months. That's just a hypothetical. 6 months doesn't definitively mean 6 months. We're just saying that it's actually on the horizon. It's on a timeline. So if I could say, well, look, the chip can be here 6 months. I'm not saying, oh, I know for a fact the chip will be here 6 months. But we can say, hey, that chip can be here in another year. It can be. The chip can be here at the end of the year. The chip can be here next month. It could be here next week, depending on how fast they move. They already got the product, the production already is done on it. So they're just creating the right scenario, because I already believe they got the chips already produced. Okay, they could produce so many hundreds of, they could produce those by the millions of within months. Different factories out of China, factories here in America, factories out there in Indonesia. They have all types of places they can mass produce these chips. It's just getting the operating system that make them go online is what's causing the hold up, from the data centers to the smart shit to the 6G shit, the AI. That's what's holding us up, man. But the chips are already produced. So by the time they roll this thing out, they can say, hey, look, come down, you got to get filled with a microchip. You got to get this under your skin. Okay, now how they going to push it as far as getting people to comply? Like I said, that's going to be the tough part, because people are waking up to it. But at the same time, they understand that if they take the food away from people, get them drugged up on one supplement, and then take it away, they're going to beg for it, no matter what. Just like a drug addict looking for a fix. They wouldn't, what's that movie, Don't Be a Menace, or Menace to Society? When the basehead, the crackhead, he was fiending for it, and he told O-Dog he'd do a favor for him over a fucking rock, man. So just imagine when this devil starve you out, when he starves your dopamine out, you people are gonna fold, man. Through the food, through the bread and circus, through the social media, he's got you where he wants you. He can just take that shit away, and he studied the mindset. That's why all these, bro, why you think they were talking about this whole Palantir shit? Is to kind of study people's minds to see how immersed they will be in this reality, bro. And by them knowing that, they like, okay, well, if we take this away, they gonna do that. It's like experiment on guinea pigs. It's what you people are. They know they got you. They're like, yeah, they gonna make videos. People gonna, complain about it. They gonna ride it, but at the end of the day, they gonna take it anyway. Going back to this whole GTA 6 folly, right? Now, people are up in frenzy because they're not creating a physical copy of the disc. You got a physical copy and a digital copy, which essentially the shit is all digital anyway. So people are bugging out online because it's not going to have an actual disc like the previous game did. So in order to reserve a physical copy, you go to the store, put the money down, then they're going to give you the box that the game comes in, but with a fucking download code in there. And people are bugging out on that shit. They're like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me I don't get no disc? Well, you will own nothing and be happy about it. And Rockstar, they clap back and say, and they may release a disc down the line, but they like, we ain't really worried about it because that ain't gonna stop people from buying the fucking game. People gonna buy it because they anticipated this shit over 10 years. So they put $2 billion into a game. They know for a fact people are gonna buy it. They know, they're confident in the product. They don't care how many red flags or how many upset people. They don't give a shit. They like, we don't give a fuck what you people think. You gonna buy it because you gonna buy it because you gonna trust me. So it's the same thing with the chip. They know, they like, look, yeah, people speaking out against it, and people are gonna come up against it. But at the end of the day, if you take away the main source of fuel from these people, which is their fucking diets and their livelihoods and their dopamine, then people will accept it. And they willing to bet their best dollar on that. And we willing to bet our best dollar that 90% of you people in Israel will take the RFID chip. A lot of you niggas took that COVID, that jabby jab too, and ain't saying nothing about it. So, hey, we know. But anyway, tell them, therefore, thus says the Lord, I will make this proverb to cease, and there should no more use it as a proverb in Israel, but say unto them, the days are at hand in effect of every vision. For when there should be any more vain vision or flattering divination within the house of Israel, for I am it says, for I am the Lord, and I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass, and it should be no more prolonged. For in your days, O rebellious house, will I say the word and will perform it, says Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. So there we go, man. So regardless of what you people think, that chip is on the way. And with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you are edified. To the next lesson.